Hello, my name is Stacy Stewart. I'm a New York City public school elementary teacher. I'm a cluster for STEM and computer science. The project that I am showing you is called the Space Project. It is a cross-curricular project-based learning unit that integrates STEM and computer science as well for elementary school children. This course details a project-based learning unit in a New York City public elementary school. It is performed in a student-led classroom environment, and it is cross-curricular, so it reaches topics such as ELA, writing. There's some math in there, science, computer science, and STEM engineering. The students are given some guidance and instructions, but basically they lead the lesson, they figure out the problem, the solution, how to correct their mistakes. They help each other. In this class, there were 28 third grade girls and boys and 3 gifted second grade students. If anyone is wondering, there was 1 girl and 2 boys from the second grade. The lesson can be modified up or down for other grades. Most of the lessons are student-led. The stories are read aloud by the teacher, followed by class discussions. So there are 2 read-alouds involved in the unit, and those were read aloud by me. We did discuss some of the vocabulary. We, as a group, had a discussion, answered some questions. We did some writing independently. From that, based on a question, what would you think life is like on Mars? The challenges are given to the class as a whole. They're all given a variety of materials. The same amount is given to every student. They can use less, but they can't have any more. And a rubric. So it says what the project must do. And it's up to them to come up with a design, create it, fix any mistakes, and make the project work. The challenges are also presented in the same way for the Lego We Do, except that in the Lego We Do, the work is completed in small groups instead of independently. All the writing for this class and the Scratch project, which is computer science platform, that's completed independently. For assessments, since it's student-led, I was able to walk around the room and talk to the children as they worked. I was also able to hear discussions they were having between one another, who was helping who, and I was able to see what they did to try to get the answer to a problem or solve the problem or fix a problem. So students receive a rubric for each component that they had to complete. In Scratch, they had to have 2 sprites, 2 backgrounds. It had to be an interactive project with the user and include at least 5 facts. The code must have loops, at least 1 loop. For the Lego We Do, they had to build a Milo, which was a Mars rover. It had to Bluetooth to the iPad, and it had to be coded to move to a certain area. Then they had to add at least 1 sensor onto it, whether it was a tilt sensor or a motion sensor, and then they had to pair up with a group and connect the 2 Milos with a chain and have the Milo complete a task together. The Do Ink app is for green screen, so the students had to complete a small skit, whether they were news reporters, astronauts, children learning about it. Didn't matter what it was. They just had to be in front of a green screen. They had to pick a background. The colors couldn't be faded, so they were invisible. The skit had to make sense, and the picture and the sounds had to be clear. For any makerspace projects, such as the first rover they built on the Starfinder, the model had to be functional. So the Mars rover had to have 6 wheels that spun, so they had to spin. It had to have an arm that moved. Since it wasn't robotics, the children could use their fingers to move the arm, but they had to show that the arm did move. And it had to have a solar panel, obviously not a real one, something that would have been a replica. Their writing responses had to be neat, well organized, the answers questions fully, and give facts and information that was correct from their research. They did research using QR codes. They also did research on the iPads during class time. They got overall grades for each of these and then an overall grade for the whole project. This is the beginning sequence of the project for weeks 1 through week 8. Due to testing and scheduling with the public schools, and this is the first time that I was running the unit, we did fall a little behind, so I plan on updating the website where all this is attached to get their Scratch projects up and to show the green screen lessons and the projects from green screen. But this is basically a curriculum map for the unit that teachers can use as a guide. Everything is based on the engineering design process, especially the new science standards which follow NGSS. The engineering design process is ask, imagine, plan, create, improve, all based around one goal. So when the goal was a pinhole star finder, they had to ask what the problem was. They wanted to find stars. How could they build it? What could they do? And they had to go from there. So the students are presented with a challenge. They brainstorm. They choose a design, their project. They build it. They test it. It's never going to work the first time. I tell them that all the time so they don't get disappointed. And then they find problems and fix them. The technology I used are iPads, Lego WeDo kits, batteries, laptops, the Scratch program, and the green screen program. There's a small sample of what it looks like. And as for a green screen, you can buy a green tablecloth in Dollar Tree. These are the state standards that this unit applies to. So the red standards are for science. The blue standards meet the reading in the ELA category. The green standards meet the writing for the ELA category as well. Now, why would I do a project like this? Are student-led classrooms more effective? In a study that I found, someone else was trying to show that student-led classrooms were more fun for the students. They were able to learn better. Their test scores went up because they weren't just sitting and learning through listening to a teacher talk and reading and writing all day long. So the graphs here show that the blue on the bar graphs prefer project-based lessons, and the orangish red color prefer traditional methods of teaching, reading, writing, lectures. So as you can see on both graphs, project-based classrooms that are student-led are preferred more by the students. Also in the graph with the data, you can see that the students' scores were higher. This is all based on the constructivism philosophy of education. Constructivist teaching is based on the belief that learning occurs as learners are actively involved in a process of meaning and knowledge construction as opposed to passively receiving information. Constructivism refers to a collection of educational practices that are student-focused, meaning-based, process-oriented, interactive, and responsive to student personal interests and needs. We all have seen the flexible seating in the classrooms. This is the way of the future. These are a few pictures of the student work samples. I do have media release forms from the parents to use the pictures and videos, and there will be more on my website, which will also be attached to the project. This is the website that I've created, and I'm updating as the lesson and the unit continues. So there's this project steps, which is the mission. There's a timeline, which includes all the materials with links if you want to purchase the materials that I use. There are weekly goals, as well as the standards and the overview, the main challenges the students were given. Under the Lego We Do tab, there are links to the lessons to build Milo. There are some video resources that people that never use the Lego We Do kit can watch to become familiar with it, and I will be uploading videos of the student work. For Scratch, coding with Scratch, create a solar system, which is what the students are doing in Scratch. And there's also a project for Scratch Junior, which is good for your lower level children, younger children completing the unit, or maybe some L students. Scratch Junior is easier, and they can watch this as a guide for space exploration. And I will also, again, be uploading links to the student work. I did include some tutorials for Scratch. If you're not familiar with it, how to make sprites talk, how to create a game. The Do Ink green screen, I will be uploading the lesson plans and videos as the students make them. Here are some resources. We read the book Life on Mars. We played a Mars rover game. There's a hyperlink here to learn about the parts of a rover and its mission, searching for water. Why Can't We Live on the Moon? The book Stargazers. And ultimately, the students will also be creating a project about making a life on the moon if we needed to. And there's also some photos of our journey. These are some of the students in the classroom. I'll also be uploading some videos that the students create, showing what they learned, explaining what they learned, and how they feel about completing projects like this.